Well, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to kind of show something a little different from hunting. I'm actually building a bar down into my basement, and it's going to be a kind of a rustic, kind of hunting themed bar in a sense, just to add to my basement. And so I just figured it's a lot of work entailed, and I just figured I probably should document it. I wasn't going to, but I figured I'd document it and something I could throw on here, and I'm try and show some of the process of what I did to change this over. So I'm going to show you kind of my basement layout. So if you look, you know, my basement's kind of separated in two sections. Like I have the staircase coming down here, and this is my son's play area. So I built my son this fire station. It's been destroyed over the years, but fire station kind of toy box. And like little chalkboard, and we kind of made this as kind of like his little play area that he's had since he was probably, oh man, 4 maybe, since we moved into this house. And so then I built this half wall kind of separate this area, and so then I redid this basement, or this section, to kind of my area, to put like kind of a lot of my, some of my deer, or most of them. And it's kind of a cool setup. It's messy as hell, and my wife would kill me if, but so she knew I was putting a video on. But so yeah, so this is kind of the man town, if you want to say. Got a few mounts and stuff here. This is the, which I'm actually think I'm going to be putting this into the bar when I'm done with it. When I finish the bar, that was the intentions when I first made this wine barrel, this, I should say, whiskey barrel table, pub table. And so you just kind of swing around some of my dad's old stuff, pictures, and then this brings you back to this section. This is what I'm going to redo, all of this. And so the plan is to make this kind of the bar section right here. Gonna make a bar coming out here. I'm going to go out and show you the live edge slab I got that I'm going to be working with, and I'm going to be putting this wall is going to be a pallet wall, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these walls yet. I think I might do half pallet. So right now I'm about to go out and kind of show you what I'm doing as far as taking the pallets off, because it's a little the pallet slats, I should say. So I'm in my garage, and I'm just going to show you kind of, I've grabbed some pallets. Now, they say sometimes doing a pallet wall or using pallets or projects, some of the toughest part is actually finding pallets. Well, that's the easiest part for me, because where I work in a place that we get pallets all the time, so I have plenty to choose from. I grabbed like 6 from work. I'm going to need probably, I don't know, I might need more than that, not sure yet. And this is what I pulled off last night, and I'm going to try and just show a quick video, very quick, of how I got these off. Forget about trying to pry them off, because they will absolutely just keep splitting, and it's a nightmare trying to do that. So I'm just going to hit this very lightly with an orbital sander. So now that we've sanded kind of all the edges, the next thing is to take these off. And like I said before, you do not want to try and pry these off. It's a nightmare, super time consuming, and the worst part is you're going to split probably every 3 boards for every 5 you do. So, I mean, some of these already have splits in them and maybe crack near the end, but there's going to be a lot of sections where you're going to need to cut pieces, so you still can use 3/4 of the board sometimes. So. That first one I had a hard time with, I don't know why, but sometimes they go right through and sometimes they don't. You catch a little wood, it might be tough, because you want to have a fine blade, obviously, when you're cutting the nails, but Sometimes it's a little difficult to get in between the wood correctly in the space. Sometimes you just zip right through them. So I finished doing all the pallets that I had. It's pretty much what I ended up with. You know, when you do them, it's probably smart to separate them by size. These are like the 3.5, I think they're like 3.5 inch, or whatever they are, 3 5/8. These are the most common ones. And if you notice, I really don't have a lot of color in these. I mean, it's hard to tell on the footage, but there are some discolored ones here and stuff, but a lot of them are very light. These are kind of miscellaneous sized ones that I have that I don't even know if I'll be able to use. These are the 5 and something. I haven't even measured them, but these are the biggest ones I have. So just to show what I've done here now, I've got all the pieces of the pallet that I'm going to use off the pallets. It really didn't take that long. It wasn't as much work as I thought it would be, but it still took some muscle a little bit. But you can see I got these laid out, and this is basically the size of the wall. It actually has an angle, so it's not quite as big as this, but it's about the same height. And so as you can see, I actually stained a few boards here just to get some dark color in there. So I'll probably separate those two right there just to kind of spread out the color a little bit. So I pretty much, it's important to lay it out. I kind of staggered the sizes. I'd go thin, wide, thin, wide. I actually had probably 3 or 4 different sets of sizes here. And obviously you want to use the same width in each row so that you're not getting these, you know, uneven pieces. All right, so I got all the pallets off and I laid them out into that pattern that's going to go on the wall, and I ended up staining them a lot darker. I actually used the same stain, except for that one board that I'm probably going to change out. I used the same stain, I think it was golden oak, on all of the boards, but because they're different colors and different grains, that they all came out in different shades and colors, some darker and lighter than others. I still have a few of the light boards that I think I'm going to do dark and fill in, but I'm going to leave a couple of them out. So right now I'm going to go take these and I'm going to start to, I'm basically just going to take it row by row and work my way up to, and bring them down to the basement and start putting some of these in. Alright, so last night when my son was sleeping, unbeknownst to him, I sadly took apart his
I'm very angry.
His toy box that I built him, and it was pretty sad. I will admit I had a hard time doing it, but he's not happy about it, but he'll understand that you know, that he's going to enjoy this room much more now once we redo it. So what I'm about to do now is I took that out. This is where the bar is going to come off of, and I'm going to start laying some of these boards in and start seeing how they look. Pretty good here. It's hard to tell in this light, but I got probably 2/3 of the wall done, because that's about, I'm at 4 feet almost, and it's a 7-foot wall. Well, the wall is done. It looks really good in person. It's hard to tell in this light, but it looks really cool. It took me 2 nights to do it, to basically put all the pieces up and cut it. Not too bad. Now I gotta figure out, I gotta hang that, and then when I hang it, I gotta be able to take it off, and I gotta figure out how what I'm gonna stain it. Well, I haven't been filming really any action of me doing this work, so I guess there's no proof of me doing this, but this is where I'm at so far. Just a little update. This is, I got part of the frame built for the bar top. Alright, so we haven't filmed, I haven't filmed much actually doing work, so I'm going to keep that theme and film my son here, Chase, using a nail gun for the first time.
I'm very scared of heights.
And he's about 18 inches off the ground. So we're going to have him use a nail gun for the first time. He knows, just like his real gun, what's the #1 rule?
Never put your finger on the trigger until you're ready.
Right. So you keep your finger off your trigger. I have you, if you fall backwards, put it up. I want you to put it up right against there. I'll help you hold it. Now you can press the trigger. Perfect. Right, hold it. We're going to do another one. So come on down. I'm gonna back up. We'll fast forward the video right here.
Yeah.
All right, back up because you're gonna go right here.
How you do?
So.
All right. So basically now you're a worker.
Push against. You pushing against the wood?
Yes.
Press the trigger. There you go. Nice job. All right. There you can see you just built the bar. All right, so just a little update. Quick, I've done a little bit of work since I last filmed. I've got the bar pretty much framed out, the base anyways. I still have to put shelves in. I started framing some things for the shelf. Big thing that I finished was the liquor cabinet, or liquor, I guess you'd call it the liquor cabinet, liquor shelf. It's been lacquered up. I decided to go with a dark trim and natural color stain in the middle. So that's going to go right up on there somewhere. I got to figure out, get it lined up and mount it. So the next step is pretty much, as you saw in the last video, my son was helping me put some of this up. So we finished the top section here. I can't really finish this pole yet because I got to put the flooring in. And so the next thing really is, once I get this basketball thing out of here, is I'll be painting this once we pick the paint, which we have not done that yet. So haven't been doing a lot the last couple days, just a little bit here and there. So the flooring's coming in this week. The epoxy's coming in for the tabletop. Oh, that's one thing that I should show. Is got stuff just spread out everywhere here. I consider myself a good person. Is the live edge table, or bar top I should say. And so I hit this outside with some 80, and then I hit it with some I've got to make sure with some 120.
I don't know whether they're gonna try and move that one or put a new one in. Lives on Saltmarsh Road in Sandwich. He says he's thankful it was only his back steps that were damaged. 2 houses down, his neighbors weren't too, but they're suddenly bringing that mild air. The storm we were looking at for a possibility Sunday into Monday now looks like a dud and a miss to our south. So then we'll focus after that on a potential storm for Tuesday into Wednesday. Okay, Kev, thanks. Well, coming up in the Boston 25 News at 5, grades vandalized over and over. And the suspect allegedly taunted a woman when she tried to get them to stop. And now here's Lisa Roberts.
And believe it or not, I'm out here in the dark, sanding the edges of the tabletop, the live edge tabletop, because I don't want sand all over inside. Not sand, I don't want dust. Sawdust going everywhere in there. And this is really the finishing touches of sanding this live edge. So I've just stained this second coat, and it's amazing how stain, just a natural clear stain, can bring the life out of this piece. The live edge, everything on this wood, on this slab looks 100 times better than it did before I put any stain on it. It's amazing. So I painted the wall. This is the color it's gonna be. It's gonna be gray, and it's gonna be gray, and it's gonna be a half wall starting there. So right now I'm gonna lay down some flooring, get some of it done. Some of these pieces go in real easy, and some of them don't. So I finished the flooring last night during the Super Bowl, and I forgot to film it, but it's pretty much the end. I got this threshold piece on. I still have to put that one over there. This was a lot. This was really a pain. When I got like more than halfway through, I had areas that it was starting to buckle and I could not get it to seat right. I had to put like heavy weights on it, like I had a battery on it, and it was really tough. I fought with a lot of pieces and sections, so it wasn't as smooth as it could have been. But I finished this wall today. I just did the bottom layer down here, but I finished this half wall, and tomorrow I'm going to stain the shelving that's going to go on the top. And I'm literally still going to stick with pallet slats and put them right across the top. And I think I'm going to stain them that dark mahogany, whatever that was. I can't even remember what that stain was, but I'm going to stain them that dark stain so they kind of match. It also kind of matches the floor a little bit. So I'm just about finished. Just got the last two pieces over here for the drink shelf are just stained and drying, but I did hang. I got my Bobby Orr signed picture. He signed that to me. My friend did that for me. And then I put up the skull dip that I did for Bruins. And then now I got the bottle opener right here, and I'm going to have the ring game for this be mounted up on the wall right here. It's coming along. I'm hoping this next steps are to really frame this, up. Not frame it up, I should say, to put the outside perimeter on. And I gotta put the, what do you call it, on the bar top. I gotta put this epoxy. That's the big project coming up. I'm gonna try and do that this weekend, hopefully not screw it up. Okay, so it's the day after I did the pour for the epoxy, and I really wasn't gonna get into this too much, but a lot of lessons learned, and so I figured I'd throw it in this video in case anybody's watching it and they want to do this for the first time. Mistake, biggest mistake, I used the wrong tape. So it leaked through some of the cracks, as you can see here. Well, you're not going to see it, but these cracks here, originally when I was doing the seal, I mean, you see it right now, it looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, the final product, at least the surface, came out great. We're going to touch on the live edge in a minute. But the holes and stuff did not plug up correctly, and they leaked through, and then it became messy and sticky, and it was impossible to seal it. So I said, all right, when I do the pour, I'll just seal it before then. So, which worked, kind of, but I used a couple things to seal off the edges and seal off the bottom. I used duct tape, which was fine for sealing underneath, but not for sealing the edges. I also used some weather stripping stuff that someone recommended, and I put it along the edge, and it stuck. And as I was doing it, and again, I did this before I did my actual flood pour. So if you look here, this side is where the foam insulation was on, and you can see there's, when I went to peel, I had to scrape this and use a putty scrape and kind of pull it, and you can see where all the remnants are still there. Now, hopefully, I'm going to be able to sand all of that. I mean, there's a lot there to do, but it should sand off pretty easily. And you can see I got all this edge here to sand that where it's stuck, and I'm not too worried about that. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm doing the frame outline of what the front of the bar is going to be. And I'm kind of just rolling the dice. I did the same colored trim as the drink shelves, and then this, as I mentioned before, this is the shiplap. It's like a gray, dark gray. Then I'm going to put it in the middle.
Awesome scene. But tell me who he is. Tell me who he loves. Tell me who loves him. Tell me what his problems are. And now,
alright, well, we got the bar set up. I got the bar top on. It's not screwed in or mounted or anything. It's just resting there. I had to, I had an issue where if you see it's slightly, not too bad, but it's slightly like moves a little bit. Originally, before it had moved quite a bit, not quite a bit, but just enough uncomfortable. It's only tied in over there. The frame's tied into that sidewall. It's not nailed into the ground. My issue was that where this board is here, there was nothing there, and I needed something there to give it a little bit more stability and structure. And then I also add this 2x4. I gotta stain it, but this 2x4 that goes all the way down there. And I'm sure once I put the shelves in down here, it'll help as well. Looks good. I am really happy with how it came out, considering I don't know what I'm doing. And we're getting close to the end, so we're getting there. I got some more stuff to put up in the wall, but almost done with this project. Hey, we're like 4 weeks into this project, and just about done. Probably gonna finish everything today, close to everything. Skipped over a few things. I think as I showed before, I had finished the bar. Well, I just got these bars and put them together, and they're actually really nice. They fit in here nice. I think they go pretty well. These are espresso colored with black padding. They're swivel seats, and those are actually a lot. Those and the floor are the most expensive things this whole project. I got to add up the total, and I'll figure it out at the end. But I'm pretty sure this whole project is going to cost me probably under $900, and literally almost $600 of it is the chairs and the floor. So that just shows you. I mean, everything else, and I'm adding everything in, stain, the polyurethane for the, not the polyurethane, the tabletop, everything. To build this bar, I already had the 2x4s pretty much. To build this bar, it was about $200 probably. And that includes everything. So I got it in. This is pretty much, I think I'm going to leave this amount of space behind the bar. I've got you can't see it in there, but I got my wine fridge in there, my little mini fridge. I still have to attach this in. Like I said before, I think in my last video, is that one of the problems I had was some of the epoxy did not set right on the edges and was sticky. So what I did was I went over it with some polyurethane, and sure enough, that worked. I have one spot that I must have missed somewhere over here that was kind of right here. It's kind of still a little sticky. Even underneath is just a little tacky. So I must have missed that with the polyurethane. So I'll just go over it again, but it's pretty good. So now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm trying to do the chandelier. So my plan with the chandelier is I purchased this. It's actually a plug-in hemp rope cord that has a little switch. And my plan is to go up behind the bar here and up over the ceiling. And I'm going to, I've got a couple of shed antlers here that these were actually bleached out. And you can see this one's got some chew marks on it and stuff. And I didn't really care because they actually looked pretty good. I just thought I'd try this. I don't know if it's going to work. And basically I'm going to figure out, I'm going to wrap this light through so that it hangs down, and I got one of the old-fashioned bulbs to hang through the middle of it, and I'm going to have it hang right here. So I'm going to try and do that next and see how that comes out. We'll see. That's the next project. Alright, so I did a couple things. I hung the chandelier here. I don't like the bulb I got. It's too bright. I'm going to get there's a duller version, but the chandelier actually looks good. I'm going to shut so you can see it a little better. Maybe not, but so that's the chandelier. I think it looks pretty cool over the bar. Homemade. I'm gonna have to fix it a little bit, but the other thing I just did was I just put in that full range corner bracket system for my buck. And so basically the way this thing works is you can move the deer around however you want. And I just kind of did it so that it was in the corner more. And to freeze this up. Now I'm about to redo the backdrop for this thing. Should look pretty good. Alright, so I just put up these boards. I was going to shape them and do corners with them, but I just left them exactly the way they were, and they just basically kind of matches in with the pallets, more pallet boards. This looks better than what I had up there. So now I'm trying to decide where my next step is. How I'm going to frame out and do this little display, this little trapper display. I haven't decided yet. Here's the finished product. Basically done today. I was able to rehang that deer, redo the back for that, made this frame, this thing for the trappers. Looks pretty cool. The lights came out pretty neat. Chandelier came out neat. I think I'm gonna get a different bulb for that. The lights, I really like how the lights came out on underneath the bar. They look really cool. They look really cool. 4 weeks, and I believe it was just under $900 to do this whole project. And when I say 4 weeks, I mean off and on, like at night, coming home from work, doing it for 2 hours, 3 hours. You know, I was gone for like 4 or 5 days, so in reality, it was probably 2 to 3 weeks really to do it. It was a lot of work, but really it was fun work. Other than the epoxy and the pallet ripping, everything else was fun. I'm super happy with how the pallets came out on the walls and the colors. None of this is stained, except for I think one piece in there was stained, but I mean, just the way the pallets came out, just really, I mean, was just so much better. None of these were stained. The only thing that's stained is the stuff on the back wall. I wanted that darker than the rest. And honestly, I probably could have just got away with doing everything the same, but I just wanted to add this in the end. There's a couple updates I made in the room since I edited some of this video. And one thing I did, as you can see, I added a TV in here. Pretty cool. It works great. It's like a 37-inch. Works great on watching your hunting shows, Bruins games, you name it. I also added that lower. It's actually, in this video it looks really bright, but it's actually a much duller, softer vintage bulb that I put in there, so it's not as dark and it's not as bright in this room. The other thing I didn't point out, I don't think, in the video is I had this sign made. This is the name that I made, and I had this done online. It was really cheap, like $60–$70. You put the name of your bar, the year that it was established. You know, put a little comment in here where all the stories are true. And tagged out is the name of my YouTube page. So I just figured tagged out tavern sounded pretty good. But it did a really great job. And then the other thing I added was this bear mount is my cousin Stevie, who passed away from cancer. God, I don't know if it's been like 4 years maybe. And he was a big outdoorsman, big fisherman, big hunter. And he had shot this bear in Canada. I think it was in Quebec. And his mom, or his sister and mom, had asked if I wanted to put it in the bar. And I said, absolutely, you know. He would love it. So that's pretty much it. Again, I did add a couple other things back here. I forgot. I don't know if I pointed out the fridge and the wine fridge that I put in, but other than that, it came out really good. Got my dad's old longbow. I added this. So I added this little chalkboard here to put in like what beers are in the fridge and stuff, and been filling up with alcohol. People have been over a couple times to bring some stuff over, so that's pretty much it. Thanks again for watching. I hope you learned some stuff. Hope it was enjoyable, not too long. And if you have any questions or comments at all, absolutely leave them down. I answer them all. I did leave some stuff out. I edited a lot because it was a lot of video. So I did edit out a lot of stuff, some tips and stuff that I probably should have included, but just made the video too long. So if you have any questions, let me know about what I used, what I did. And thanks again for watching.